This episode of the Bottle Rocket podcast is brought to you by GamerClips.tv. Play, share and watch video game frags and clips with hundreds more added every day. Hit the link in the comments section to check them out.
Yeah, man.
Hi guys, and welcome to this week's episode of the Bottle Rocket podcast with me, Chris.
And me, Ben.
Now, we've got to start this week off with the Avengers 2 trailer.
Oh my god.
Oh my god, indeed.
Is the only way to describe that trailer.
So, I think the story goes, it was due to air with Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. next week, but it's been leaked.
Are we looking forward to that, by the way, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.?
To be honest, I haven't kept up with it.
No, me either. I watched the first half of the first season. I wasn't impressed, so I just gave up. Anyway.
Same here, but I've recently acquired the rest of the first season and the start of the second, so I'm gonna actually knuckle down and get involved with it. Seeing as there's so many more superhero series coming out on the horizon.
Yeah. Oh yeah, big time. Daredevil, a particular highlight of that.
But this trailer sort of it was sprung on me last night. I was just looking through the IGN app on PS4 probably for the first time since I've got the console, and the top story on there was this Avengers Age of Ultron trailer, and I was like, what the fuck? I didn't even know there was one out, and watched it, and it was like, oh my god.
Yeah, I must admit I had a certain level of elation this morning when I found out that the trailer had been released early. And, you know, I definitely was not disappointed by it in the slightest. It's
a really creepy trailer, isn't it? With the sort of the theme behind it, that sinister, got no strings.
Sinister voiceover from Ultron.
That's James Spader, isn't it?
Yeah. James Spader as Ultron. Pretty good actor, I must say. Good at bad guys, I think, as well.
Yeah, definitely. I'm going to start watching The Blacklist that he's in.
Yeah, I've seen it advertised. It looks pretty cool. The first trailer I saw for that, he's like some kind of wanted fugitive by the FBI, and he rocks up at the headquarters and says, "Oh, I'm such and such a person," then sits down and waits to get arrested like a badass.
Yeah, I've got the first few episodes on the series link to watch that, so quite looking forward to that. But yeah, we actually finally get to see the Hulkbuster suit.
Yeah, you know what? Right, I'm quite surprised by actually the amount of stuff they showed in the trailer, purely because, considering it was meant to be a teaser, you know, I felt like we were completely spoiled in a way. They didn't hold back anything.
Another surprise for me in that trailer was the release date.
Yeah.
April 2015. So that makes it not even 5 months away.
No.
And I was expecting summer next year.
Yeah. Well, I think a lot of their release dates originally stated May. So that's that's better for us, I guess. It means that we get the goodness of the Avengers much sooner.
Damn.
And it looks so damn good.
So I imagine, well, looking at it, it's everywhere on the internet at the moment. If you haven't already seen it, it won't be long until it's forced upon you. I think that it's coming. It's going to be aired with most of the viewings of Interstellar as well, which is obviously Chris Nolan's big hitter for the tail end of this year. So I guess a lot of people were probably going to see that, on top of the probably 8 million or so that have already seen it on YouTube and various other outlets. Definitely.
Yeah, but I mean, my hype is at maximum level.
Certainly is. So let's talk about a bit of gaming news now. So PSN are in a spot of bother over their Sale of the Dead, I believe.
Yeah, it's I think it's the US Halloween sale on the PlayStation Store, and what has happened is Sony and the team behind the store have posted on as the main sort of advertising for the sale, they've used a font for Sunset Overdrive, which Insomniac Games did make public. But obviously, I imagine they never intended that their, a rival company would choose to use that as one of their main sort of advertising routes for a big sale on PlayStation Store.
Yeah, so you were telling me about this earlier, and I got the idea that it'd be a similar font, and then there'd be some sort of but I've just been on and had a look, and it is literally exactly the same font.
Oh yeah, it's the font.
There's no question about it.
Insomniac Games did, as I said, they made the font available for public consumption just because they thought it's a cool font. Now, I'm not sure whether Sony have done this as a deliberate move, because you could argue that, Sunset Overdrive being advertised everywhere, pretty distinctive. They could be using the momentum from that release to gain a little bit of extra bit of clickbait for the store, maybe pick up a few sales. Or I'm not sure if it's a genuine mistake on Sony's part.
That can't be a mistake. Not to use that specific font at this time.
Yeah, but it's cool because it garnered a little bit of a tongue-in-cheek response from Insomniac Games. They they posted onto the official Sony Twitter saying, "Cool font. Looks like you guys are looking forward to Sunset Overdrive as much as we are." So they're using Sony's potential tongue-in-cheek dig at them as a way to gain publicity for themselves.
Obviously, this isn't the first time this has happened in the recent iteration of consoles. The similar thing happened with Destiny, didn't it? You were telling me about that earlier as well.
Yeah, with Destiny, obviously Sony paid Activision a presumably significant sum of money to have some, obviously exclusive content on the game and exclusive rights to advertise the game. I mean, this happens with all sorts of games. So, like Microsoft have got COD. They have DLC releases a month early, and they get exclusive rights to advertise with their console name attached. Same sort of deal with Destiny, but Microsoft decided to play on a loophole and created a fake website for a fragrance that they called Destiny, and then sort of links to their site for pre-orders and whatnot, which I thought was a little bit cheeky. But all in the spirit of good business, I'm sure.
Yeah. So it's fun to see the interaction between the big companies.
Well, it's nice to think that they actually have a bit of a sense of humour. I know that in the past, all the heads of the companies have tweeted one another, and they're all very friendly. But you can't tell if that's just corporate faces appearing to the masses to be, a bit chummy, so that we don't think that there is a real war going on. But yeah, I just think, I love it when you get these little cheeky digs at one another from these big companies, especially when they've got like a sense of humour as well. Tweeting one another and giving them mad bants.
Yeah, so keeping it with PS4, the new firm weight. The firm weight, I suppose, is an adequate term for it, because we've been waiting that bloody long for it.
Great pun, bro.
Yeah, I meant that. I promise. So the firmware update 2.0 is bringing a load more themes, a load more features, customization to PS4 really.
Yeah, it's been looking a bit barren for a while.
Well, very very sort of everybody's got the same. Whereas now, it's getting a USB music player, so you can now play your own music in the background while you're playing a game using the USB music player app.
I think that's going to be a big feature, to be honest with you. People are always crying out for the use of their own music for background music. Now, Sony do offer that at the minute, but they are just strong-arming you into buying Music Unlimited. That is currently the only way to have custom background music on. So this will make a bit of a difference, in my opinion. It'll give the PS4 a bit of a boost. The themes as well. I mean, one of my favourite things about PS3 as it updated was the themes. It was nice to just have a little bit of personalisation, even if it was just something as simple as colour, to start off with, or little interactive icons.
That's the next point there. You can change the colour now, in addition to the ability to add a theme.
Well, not now, but when it goes live.
Yeah, of course. 7 whole new colours.
Yeah, 7. Hopefully it'll be in line with the amount of colours you've got on the Vita.
Well, you never know.
Which also now has themes, funnily enough.
There's enhancements to live broadcasting, which should be interesting. So I've had a little dabble with the streaming sort of capabilities of the PlayStation at the moment, and it is very limited at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, I've watched a few streams myself on the live from PlayStation, and it's not bad.
No.
It can be quite. The resolution isn't necessarily as good as you would like it to be, and I'm guessing that they're going to be working on like servers or netcode or something that will obviously help to smooth out the experience for people who have got not necessarily such a great upload speed, but still want to share their gaming experiences. I mean, my internet connection is pretty dire, so I rarely ever bother streaming any gameplay. But it's not something it's something I wouldn't mind doing. For instance, taking on the raid in Destiny, I'd love to just stream that because maybe someone could benefit from that, or people just love watching that kind of stuff.
I certainly do. Content area and library updates. So the content area, which shows the latest games and apps a PS4 owner has used, has been redesigned to make it easier to quickly find and access content, which I think is needed, because that, for me at the moment, that content area when you open up the PlayStation is messy.
Yeah, one thing that's a bit of a gripe for me with PS4, which I don't think they're going to be addressing in this update, is the fact that you can't organise your games library properly. I don't know if they are addressing it this time, but your games library is just terrible. They need to really sort it out.
Yeah, I hate that sort of that bar of your most recently used stuff, because it's like I'm constantly scanning through everything to find what I want.
Yeah, I think as well. Like, I mean, I don't know about you, but I tend to forget about games that I've perhaps bought or wanted to play because they're just hidden away.
Yeah.
Like, I bought Metal Gear Solid 5 Ground Zeroes on the store for about £10 when it was on sale not long ago, and I've not played it yet. I was really looking forward to picking it up and playing it. I upgraded my hard drive, re-downloaded everything and whatnot. Another feature, by the way, which is coming, is a hard transfer of data, which I could have done with. What a ball like that was. I've lost my train of thought now. What was I saying? What was I even saying then?
About games that had disappeared.
Oh god, yeah. Sorry, my library. Yeah, they've been lost in the library that long. I forgot about them. Yeah, it's just a really inconvenient way of going through and finding your games, because I've recently just sort of flipped through my library to see what I've actually got, with regards to PlayStation Plus releases coming out every month and what I've downloaded, and realised, I bought this title, which I was really looking forward to playing, which I've just completely forgotten about. Obviously in no small part down to having full release titles like Destiny, but, the ability to actually sift through your games in more like, how they've got the TV and the apps. There should be like a dedicated game folder.
Yeah, definitely.
Because you wouldn't really forget about them then, and it would sort of declutter that experience. And I think that is pretty much a dead cert requirement in my eyes, because I don't want to keep forgetting about games that I've bought, or PSN downloads or PlayStation Plus games.
Well, moving on to PSN downloads, there's an add to library feature. The monthly free PlayStation Plus gamers will have an add to library button in the PlayStation Store. This button will add a game to a PS4 owner's library without downloading it, saving space on their hard drive.
Oh.
Quite keen to see how that works.
But yeah, that could be potentially quite interesting. and it might even get you in, playing a game that you didn't expect to play. If they're sort of hot picking the games based on your sort of gaming preferences or previous downloads, that'd be pretty cool. I mean, I think they were they meant to have a similar feature on the PlayStation 3 a while back, where you could set one of your system settings to automatically download content that you might be interested in, like excuse me, like demos or free games or PlayStation Plus games, but it never actually materialized in my experience. It just sort of was an option that I had enabled that never did anything. Nothing useful at least. So it could be potentially quite good.
Yeah, I mean, it's about time we have some more versatility on the PS4, really.
Definitely.
Because coming from E3 and stuff like previously, there was a lot of promises.
Oh yeah. I mean, Gamescom is where they announced all this stuff. Gamescom was 2 months ago now. I should have thought that they were touting these features to be released within the same month. Not still 2 months later waiting for them.
Yeah.
And I mean, most of us at Bottle Rocket would probably admit to being more sided towards the PlayStation. But I must admit, Microsoft, props to them, because they've really pushed the boat out with upgrades for the Xbox One. There's been at least an update to the OS every month.
Yeah.
And I wish Sony had been as hot with their updates as Microsoft, because we might actually have this content then. I mean, the fact that we still haven't got something as simple as YouTube integration.
That was going to be the next thing. I mean, how realistically, how hard is that? I don't know. When you've got a working version of it on the PS3,
exactly.
How difficult is it to bring that forward to the PS4?
I think literally that's down to licensing of some sort. I don't think that it's a technical issue. I think it's a business issue. And something that Sony have probably worked out with YouTube now, and therefore can bring it to the PlayStation 4 rather than holding it back. But that is a feature that's been sorely missed, because at the minute, uploading to Facebook, what a ball like that is, and it's not exactly the place to go to find videos, is it?
Yeah.
It's good if you want to show off to your mates, but what if you've got a load of friends that aren't interested in games? You just look like, a bit of a nerd. Yeah, it's good. It's about time that Sony did step up to the plate and release a meaningful update to the console. Unless that's what they've been planning all along, though, is not to release, thread bit updates, but to hit us with one big fat content update that makes a massive difference to the general consensus.
Maybe.
But either way, it's needed. Is this the update as well where we get the share play feature, where you sort of take control of your friend's game via Wi-Fi, sort of virtual couch?
Not from the notes that I've read. That was again one of the sort of fairy tale promises from.
That was from the February reveal trailer event.
Yeah.
That was probably one of my favourite features from that reveal.
In theory, it's a fantastic feature. But there's no sort of sign of that on the horizon yet, as far as I've seen.
Hopefully, then they'll sneak that one in as well, because
that's a big one to sneak in. I think that'd be up towards the top of the notes if it was.
It was one. It was probably one of the distinctive features of the PlayStation reveal. Microsoft didn't offer that. Sony need to actually get on top of these things that the fans want. Not to be too harsh to them, because overall PlayStation 4 is their better offering of the two. I know that Microsoft have sort of gone back over some of the stuff that they said and made up for the wrongdoings of the launch, the Xbox One launch and reveal. For all those people that felt that they'd been misled or, you know, disappointed by the way Microsoft actually handled their business when it was coming to revealing the Xbox One. I mean, I was, because I've never been against the Xbox, as it were, but I don't think I've not been given a reason to forgive Microsoft for all the massive clusterfuck of the launch of the Xbox One. You know, they sold it to you at the reveal as a flipping TV device, basically.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and now, I mean, now they've just moved to say that the free music streaming feature that they've got is going to be discontinued on December the 1st. And it's going to be replaced with an Xbox Music Pass, which is $10 a month.
Yeah, I think it works out as $8.99 in sterling. But yeah, I mean,
so that's another change to their sort of home media center.
It's just another reason, sort of, not to get sucked into the Microsoft machine. You know, they probably gave that music, that feature away as a free feature to make sure that they got a higher attach rate or something along those lines when, you know, when the Xbox One was released, and now it's been taken away. You know, without a second thought, it's been put on a monthly pay barrier, and there you go. Bob's your teapot. Suck on that, guys. Basically,
they've also pushed back the screenshot feature for the Xbox One as well, haven't they?
Yeah, to 2015. You know, another arguably fundamental and easy to implement feature taken away. I mean, in a way, it makes you question the conviction sometimes of companies like Sony and Microsoft, when they aren't giving you the bread and butter features from the beginning.
Yeah, you sort of you introduce these consoles with these seemingly basic sort of applications and features, and it takes years after to deliver them. I don't see.
I mean, if I'm honest, I was disappointed that when the Xbox One and PS4 released, they didn't have the functionality out of the box that Xbox 360 and PS3 had. I thought, as a bare minimum requirement, that would be how these consoles were presented to us. And I was significantly and utterly gutted when I found out that the PlayStation 4 couldn't even play 3D Blu-rays. It can't play CDs, you know, audio CDs can't be played on PlayStation 4. That sounds ridiculous.
It does, doesn't it? You know, to think of a CD as being, you know, sort of futile hardware.
Yeah, almost. Yeah, with dominance of digital these days, it's.
But even stuff like, at the moment on the PlayStation, you can't even plug a USB stick in and access the content.
Well, yeah, a lot of it is, you know, unaccessible or unreadable or.
Yeah, I mean, what's it all about? I mean, for me, that's where the PlayStation 3 really dominates the sort of console world. I think it was just such a versatile machine that you could bend to do whatever you wanted it to. I mean, for God's sake, I use mine as a media server. You know,
that was one of the better features as the live.
You know, my PlayStation remote plays from my phone, and I can access files on my PC through it and play them on my TV screen. It's a phenomenal bit of kit for versatility and what you can actually do with it. And then you get this new, bigger, better, faster, stronger console that's got a fraction of the versatility. It seems like you're paying more for less.
Yeah, it is a bit of a backward step. I mean, I suppose we've got to have faith in these companies to deliver the goods. But when, you know, the last console cycle was about 8 years long, and they're saying that this cycle is going to be even shorter. You know, so we're starting with less features. We're not going to get these features in very quick, clearly. And the console cycle will be over before you know it. So yeah, fuck you, gamers.
Pretty much. Well, let's let's try and move away from the negative a bit, and try and find something positive that's coming out. I'm looking forward to Halo Nightfall. I must admit. Along with an early glimpse at Halo 5 Guardians multiplayer mode, Halo Fest will also broadcast the premiere of Nightfall, which is the new TV show that's
Based
started.
on Halo, yeah. It's going to have quite a bit about the character. Is his name Sergeant Locke, I believe, who's the new sort of main character. Or one of the main characters.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to see what they can actually do with that, because I don't know if you saw Forward Unto Dawn.
I didn't actually see that. I was interested, but I never got around to watching it.
Well, it was made by Microsoft Studios and 343 Studios, which is the sort of I suppose it's Microsoft's Halo division.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah,
and
for all intents and purposes.
Yeah, they did an absolutely cracking job of making a movie. Considering they're not necessarily movie makers.
Yeah.
So it's going to be quite interesting to see what they come up with.
That's a good thing, though. I suppose that they can have a breadth and wealth of content and be involved in it all. And be good at doing that as well, and not just be one-trick ponies. It's always good to have the teams coming together, with not just making the games, but making all the sort of aside elements as well that that can help to add depth to the universe. Because I think every game fan, if you've got a particular series that you're interested in, you're always going to seek out as much content in that world as you possibly can. I'm pretty big fan. Well, I was a big fan of Devil May Cry before they turned the series into a bag of shit.
You weren't a fan of the new look that they went for?
Well,
it wasn't Dante.
I tell you what, it wasn't about the new look or appearance. It was just about the attitude that the developers had towards changing the image. Like, it was their given right to just change something that fans really love into something that they wanted it to be for a reboot. And while I'm not going to stand in the way of creativity by any means, I think that you need to just have a little bit more respect for your fan base when you're making sweeping changes to a much-loved series. Because that did disappoint me and many others, I'm sure. But there was like an adult themed anime that came out alongside, was it Devil May Cry 4? I can't remember. It might have been Devil May Cry 3, but there's like an adult themed anime that came out as well around the same time. And I think that it was a half decent series. I mean, I'm an anime fan myself anyway. But it just added that extra layer, a bit of lore to a universe that is already developed, and you've got plenty of content from within the games, but you just get that little extra bit on the side from these extra series. I probably will try and catch some of Nightfall. I mean, I'm not an avid Halo player as it is, but I'm not opposed to it either.
I quite enjoy the universe and the stories and the possibility for story that's in it. I think they've got a really strong sort of lore surrounding the whole thing. So it's interesting to me to see what they're going to do with that.
I mean, we can't forget as well that Halo's probably got one of the biggest fan bases of any current game as well. So
it's probably one of the biggest game franchises about.
They're going to do it justice, regardless. I think that's fair to say, and that's like I say, that's only going to benefit us gamers in the long run, because it means that we're going to get content that we want and deserve, I suppose, from these companies that are making mega bucks from our interest. And
Now,
So yeah.
I think the last thing we're going to take a look at today is Blizzard have delayed the launch of Hearthstone for iPhone and Android phones.
I didn't even know there was a smartphone version coming.
Well, you've just stole my line because I was about to say that as well. So so for it to be delayed for me is
Irrelevant almost.
irrelevant because I didn't even know they were making it for phones. But I mean it's going to be interesting to see how they develop it for use in your hand.
Yeah, I mean, I must admit, I mean, I've got Hearthstone on the iPad too, and there are some performance hits on there. There's quite a bit of slowdown and stuff. I mean, it works really well overall, but there is quite a lot of slowdown, and I'm wondering how they're going to combat that for phones. I mean, I know they're getting
really
more
going to have
and
to tone down the animations and stuff like that, aren't they?
Yeah, there's gonna be a lot of compromise, I think.
But I mean, it makes sense that they're delaying that because they've got a little bit of work out for them over the next couple of months anyway with a little game. I don't know if you've ever heard of it called World of Warcraft.
No, I never heard of that.
Yeah, that's coming out soon.
It's getting its new feature update. Yeah, the Warlords of what? Dulnor or something like that.
Warlords of Draenor. And that's when you probably will not be seeing me for about 3 months.
The Warlords of Boredom.
Take that back.
No,
Yes,
I like the universe of WoW and the lore behind it all.
That's on the list, and the movie is on the way as well, which from what I've heard, read, and seen, looks to be a very accurate sort of representation of the part of the story that they've chosen to go into.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you. I'm really looking forward to the Warcraft movie. It's gonna be pretty awesome. I think overall,
it's not. What I like about it is it's not going to be. It's not going to be what a lot of people would expect it to be.
Yeah.
You sort of look at it on the surface, and it's a very sort of red v blue, orcs versus humans sort of thing. Whereas that's not the way that Duncan Jones is taking it on. The original script, I think I'm going back to BlizzCon last year. I think it was Chris Metzen was saying that they'd got this script knocking about, and they'd interviewed a couple of different directors, and then Duncan Jones came in and said, "Look, I love the idea of doing the movie, but we can't do it with that script.
Yeah.
We've got to tell it from both sides because there's heroes and villains on both sides." And I think it was Metzen that was like, "Oh, holy shit! This is the guy. This is our director." So it seems like he's got quite a sort of knowledge of the background of what he's doing, and that is the main driving thing behind Warcraft. Is it's not good versus bad. It's two opposing factions with different intentions.
What is good and what is bad.
Well, this is it.
Good and bad are from the point of view of
it's all about
whoever.
perspective.
Yeah, exactly. So they've got to arguably they've got to balance out the missions like that. They can't just say not the missions. What am I talking about? The movie. Well, yeah, the missions too. But
the missions, yeah.
They've got to balance the movie out in that respect, haven't they? I mean, especially when you consider the amount of Warcraft fans that there are. There's 7 million subscribers. All of those likely are going to try and see the movie, and if one of those has got an alliance with the Horde and one to whatever the other one is,
the Alliance.
If one gets represented in great detail, such as the Alliance, then all those Horde are going to be like, "What the fuck? Where's our Horde movie? You've just done an Alliance movie."
Yeah. Well, so, there's already swathes of arguments going on about like the next sort of expansion is focused on the orc warlords that inhabited the world of Draenor before it was destroyed, and a lot of the sort of run-up videos and stuff, this Lords of War featurettes that have come out on YouTube on the run-up, have been about these two alliance leaders discussing the enemies they're going to face. And the big argument that's been going on at the moment is sort of, oh, it's going to be another sort of alliance-based, alliance of the good guys sort of thing. Horde are a bunch of assholes, and there's these arguments going on all the time. So it'll only take the slightest offset of the scales in the movie to cause that sort of backlash.
I mean, I think there's bound to be a degree of offset. You know, I'm sure that Duncan Jones maybe is a Warcraft player, maybe he's got a preference, and maybe he will take the film in a certain direction. But there's going to be something where, you know, you empathise with both sides. That, you know, that is what the impression I've been getting from.
I think you'll find his script will see you torn between which faction to root for, sort of thing.
I just hope there's one of those really epic moments in the movie where something unifies both sides. You know, some bigger purpose.
If I know the law like I know the law, then there will be something bigger.
And you are the law master, after all.
There will be something bigger and badder lurking in the backgrounds. But I don't want to ruin the story for everyone that doesn't already know.
Yes, that's right, damn it.
So on that note, we'll call it a day for this week.
Yeah.
Thanks for listening. If you enjoyed the podcast, give us a subscribe, or you can always follow us on Twitter. So for this week, I've been Chris,
and I've been Ben.
Catch you next time.
Thanks for listening.